How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard. It is just about Christmas time. I'm going to try to get this posted before Christmas. So if it is after Christmas, I hope everybody's Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is you celebrate was fantastic. And hope the new year goes well. Also, this week, we are returning to one of our favorites, which is Fever Dreams. This one we're titling Christmas Chaos, and it is always fun. We will get to the rules and the champions here in a little bit, but I didn't get a chance to do this last week, Leonard, but I wanted to show off your Christmas present. Leonard was kind enough to send me some autographed pictures. That's quite a good one there. You know, why is she eating a donut? It doesn't matter.
I have no idea why she's eating a donut.
She can do whatever she wants, right?
Yeah.
And then on the back, the better one, Mantar, which is fantastic. And what's funny about this, other than the fact that it is Mantar, is that in AEW recently, maybe it wasn't recent. I'm behind on my collisions, but there was a match between El Vikingo and another luchador named Black Taurus, whose facial headgear looks like a slightly smaller version than this, but like, he wears it through the match with horns and all. And like I said to myself, you know, if Vince was watching this, which he's not, but if he was, he would be like, had to be kicking himself. Like, how the hell's that guy? He's doing flips and like all sorts of luchador moves in this like bull headgear, and this guy couldn't even get in the ring properly. So
it was just a hair too big. Now were the horns like rubber or like flexible?
Probably, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. They were ahead of their time, too ahead of their time.
Right.
And I need to show what Chad got me, which is the Jim Cornette head shirt, which I did not have, so I appreciate that. And I'll have to start wearing that to wrestling shows, and I'll either get hugs or punched out, one or the other.
Hey, well, hopefully you don't get punched out. Then I'd feel bad since I'm the one that got it. But you know, I was, Leonard, going to get you a different shirt, and I'm glad I did. Well, I was going to get it for you, and then I was like, no, I think this one's better for him, and so I decided to get the one I didn't get for you. I was going to get it for myself, which was a Dangerous Alliance shirt. But it had all the Dangerous Alliance members, but it was in the style and font of The Sopranos, right?
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's really cool. Well, I ordered it from a site called Zazzle or something, and they canceled my order because it violated their guidelines. You know,
how did it violate their guidelines?
Right, it was on their site, but apparently once they were going to go process the order and they realized that it was blatantly Sopranos style, I guess, they canceled my order, so I didn't get it. And
okay.
So anyway, I'm sporting my York Foundation shirt, but yeah. So
again, with Fever Dreams, also we usually drink, and I have a bourbon and ginger ale because it's what I had.
Nice. Well, I do have my trusty WrestleFest glass here. I have a dark lager there.
I have mine in the man glass. I was going to go with because this is more of a rocks glass. That's why I did.
Is that Becky Lynch glass?
I could be. It just says the man on it.
Yeah,
it could be. We'll just say it's a Becky Lynch glass.
All right. So for those who have not watched any of our Fever Dreams episodes or haven't watched one in a while, maybe, what we do here was based on an internet post, which was a post of 4 faces, and it basically asked you to choose who do you think would win in a match between these 4 guys. So Leonard and I took that, and we decided to make a game out of it for our show, which means we have a random name generator website, and in that website, we input lots of different names, lists of male wrestlers, female wrestlers, gimmicks, managers, tag teams, and so on. And we compile a makeshift card and generate random names or maybe random gimmicks. And we choose and talk about who we think would win those matches. So it's a lot of fun for us. And currently, um, I wanted to kind of start with somewhat of a clean slate. Um,
Mhm.
we don't have any matches. Well, we only have one match that's really ready to go. And
Mhm.
so our tag team champions, and I never get tired of saying it because it's our creation, is the Mega Powers Foundation. We combine Mega Powers of Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage with the York Foundation.
Mhm.
So in our heads, the Mega Powers are wearing suits, and they're going by their real names, Terrence Bollea and Randall Poffo. And
Mhm. And I believe Alexandra York is with them, correct?
yeah, well, I think last time I said Elizabeth Hewlett.
Yes, yeah, she could be with them as well.
Yeah. So, and on top of that, we had talked in our last episode about Sergeant Slaughter being in a match, and somehow we got off on a tangent on wouldn't it be fun if Sergeant Slaughter came out wearing all black and was teamed with, you know, the Undertaker in like a ministry gimmick. So we decided to make those two a tag team, and they're the number one contenders. And I don't know, GI Joe Ministry or Military Ministry, maybe GI Joe Ministry.
GI Joe Ministry is more fun, although Military Ministry you get the alliteration. But I think I like the GI Joe Ministry because that makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, in our version, Slaughter comes out wearing all black, maybe an all black camo outfit with the
Hmm.
Undertaker wearing his satanic getup at the time. Anyway, that's what I pictured. But anyway, so this should be a good tag team match. However, we added two things to this, which is a gimmick, which will be chosen by me,
Hmm.
and a run-in, which will be chosen by Leonard. But I forgot to mention the other champs in our league. Awesome Kong is our women's champ. Bruno Sammartino is our FDW Universal Champion. And Kurt Angle, rookie version, is our Smoky Mountain Wrestling U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. Um,
That's
so,
a great belt for Rookie Angle to have. Actually, it's a
I
great belt for him to have.
all right. So, before we get to Leonard's run in here, match is the Mega Powers Foundation versus the G.I. Joe Ministry. There is a gimmick attached, and the run in is going to be crucial to this match because the gimmick
Okay.
won't alter it that much because I entered the regular gimmick matches and some of our creation of Christmas gimmick matches as well.
Hmm.
And first pick, it was a Christmas gimmick match, and that is the winner gets a weekend with Mrs. Claus match. so, so that is the gimmick.
All right. So, is there a Mrs. Claus, or are we just saying it's Mrs. Claus?
We're just saying it's Mrs. Claus. She
Okay.
can look however she wants to in your head.
Okay. Well, the run-in is also very, I believe, in my opinion, very minimalized.
Okay.
It's the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea.
Okay. Well, okay. So we then have to talk about who we think this particular talent, Prince Ikea, I'm not saying the full thing, who we think he would side with. And I can't see him siding with the Mega Powers Foundation.
No, because he doesn't have a name that we can have a formal version of.
That, and I can see him wearing an all black
Right.
suit of some sort.
That's why he's the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea, because he's joined the ministry now, or the G.I. Joe ministry.
Right. You could see him being abducted by the Undertaker and his.
Right. So he's going to help. He's going to help the ministry out. Now, I am trying to consider the gimmick because I think the Mega Powers Foundation would probably get the most out of the weekend with Mrs. Claus
I don't know. Slaughter might be looking for a nice weekend too.
on shore leave. Yes. This, I really kind of like this matchup a lot. If
Yeah.
we're talking a prime Slaughter and a prime, Undertaker versus the Mega Powers when they were, together in, 80, 88. This is a really cool matchup. It's a really tough one to pick. Part of me wants to go with the Ministry just so they could continue on as a tag team. But the Mega Powers Foundation have been so dominant. They're the more regular team. I am leaning slightly towards the Mega Powers, but you could change my mind if you wanted to.
Well, I think that these two teams would be fairly evenly matched. I mean, instead of the quickness with Savage, on the other side, you basically have two power guys in Slaughter and Undertaker. And obviously, the better, more seasoned tag team is the Mega Powers Foundation. But I think the clincher here is whether or not we think the run-in will make a difference.
I think IK probably just gets his butt whipped. I
would agree with that. So I would say that maybe the Mega Powers Foundation eke this out just barely.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this leads, maybe they're attacked by the entire Ministry after the match.
So they keep their heat, and the Ministry can stick around as a thing for us.
Right.
I think do that. And I'm gonna add something. IK runs to the ring and gets clotheslined by Elizabeth Hewitt.
I think
she takes him out.
I think that's what would happen anyway. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she takes him out. So the next match is me drawing, and it was one of my ideas. And it is a must-win by other guys finisher. So wrestler A has to use wrestler B's finisher to win, and vice versa. And I was hoping that we would get something that would be like completely, off. Like say, the Big Show has to do a Firebird Splash or something of that nature. But we didn't get that. I generated this before we came on the air, just in case it might be somebody we don't know what their finisher was, so I could look it up. So we have the NWA version of Ric Flair versus Blackjack Mulligan.
Okay.
So Mulligan used a claw hold like the Von Erichs. And of course, Flair used the figure four. So Ric Flair has to use the claw to win the match. And Blackjack Mulligan has to use the figure four to win the match. So it's become a default submission match.
True. That's true. So, yeah, I mean, I would see here, I mean, you're dealing with Ric Flair. So I would see Ric Flair being able to win here with the claw hold. I don't see, I see this being probably a good match with Rick doing his trademark shtick with a bigger guy in there. I'm sure Rick would make him look really good. Not that he needs a ton of help. He was already very good in the ring.
Yeah.
With this Blackjack Mulligan?
Especially this being a Blackjack Mulligan.
Mulligan. Okay, yeah. So I'd see Rick getting the win here because if history proves anything, when people put the figure four on Ric Flair, he generally has a way of getting out of it pretty fast. So
yeah, I think that would be the story of the match. Would be Flair being able to counter it or to reverse it and to do that, and then he's probably going to do something like hit Mulligan in the head with a foreign object before applying the claw and winning that way. So I definitely see Ric Flair winning this. So that wasn't quite as fun as I wanted it to be, but that would be, as you said, I think a really good match.
Absolutely. All right. So our next match does have our rookie version of Kurt Angle defending the SMW US Junior Championship against three other guys. And those guys are Bob Orton, the Matt Hardy, the version that is Angry at Lita and Edge version. That specific version of Matt Hardy.
That's a very specific version.
And the CM Punk, the Straight Edge Society version of CM Punk.
Okay.
So
now this is Bob Orton. This is Bob Orton Jr., not Bob Orton Sr.
Yes.
Okay.
Junior.
Bob Orton Jr. Okay.
So Leonard,
because Senior would be really.
What's that?
Because Senior is a little deep. Bob Orton Senior would be a little deep for us. That's
yeah. I don't even know if he's on our list. He might be.
He probably isn't. So rookie Kurt Angle, Bob Orton Jr., the Mad Atleta and Edge version of Matt Hardy, and Straight Edge Society CM Punk. I would like to see that version of Hardy and that version of Punk. I think that's a good one-on-one match, right there. This is a good matchup. I think Bob sticks out like a sore thumb just because it's such a way different style. Because this is rookie Kurt Angle, I give CM Punk an edge because this is a more seasoned CM Punk. I mean, this is during very much the prime of his career. So I would say that, especially because this is rookie Angle, he's going to get mixed up with like Orton and Hardy, and he's going to get distracted. And I think Punk will use that to his advantage. I think the fact that this is a crafty veteran Punk gives him the win.
Yeah, I would agree. The standout here, as good as Kurt Angle was in his rookie year, this is, like you said, this is a CM Punk that was past being the king of the indies and is on his way up in WWE. So I definitely see CM Punk being able to win here, whether it be a quick victory over Matt Hardy or even pinning Kurt Angle. Bob Orton, I feel like he gets lost on the outside somewhere, you know?
Yeah, probably so. Him and Matt might go off in the corner and do something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So, Leonard, why don't you take us to our next match?
That's the next one. So this is my creation as well, as a Santa Claus suit match. So much like a tuxedo match, you win by stripping your opponent. And that type of match is usually done by managers. So this is two managers is having this match, this Santa Claus suit match. And they are Colonel Robert Parker versus Paul Bearer. So your thoughts, Chad, since I'm the one who drew it.
I mean, Paul Bearer was just a manager, a good one, but obviously not somebody who's in the best shape. So, on the other hand, Colonel Robert Parker was very much a wrestler and was in so many brawls, in that territory. So I would have to go with Colonel Robert Parker getting an easy victory here.
Yeah, for those who may not know, Robert Parker is Robert Fuller, brother of Ron Fuller. And so prior to being a manager in WCW, wrestled for Continental, which Ron owned, and a few other places as well. So yeah, my exact reasoning is the same as yours. It's the fact that Fuller is in better shape and was a wrestler over Paul Bearer. Not that this is a wrestling heavy match, but I still think that favors Parker. And given a match like this where you're stripping the suit off, you kind of want the fat guy, like in loud, maybe like Christmas boxers, to be the guy who winds up getting stripped for the humor of it. So yes, we agree on this one as well.
All right. Well, the next match is also one of Leonard's creations. And
yes, but I'm letting Chad draw the names for that. And I added that this would be we didn't have any women's matches. So I made this a women's Candy Cane Lane street fight. And I imagine this is a tie-in with the Candy Cane Lane movie starring Eddie Murphy.
okay.
You know how anymore, especially WWE, everything is sponsored. There's matches that get sponsors. So I'm saying this is sponsored by Candy Cane Lane. And the winner of this will go on to face Awesome Kong in a future show, because we didn't have any like number one contenders matches either. So what are the names?
All right. So we've got Becky Lynch, the early version.
Okay.
So think steampunk version.
Yeah. Against
Jade Cargill.
Ooh. Just regular Jade Cargill.
Yeah, I have not updated this list recently. So, well, not that she's done a whole lot in WWE.
Yeah, that she's a whole lot different. Yeah.
Still pretty much.
Wow. You know what? Because this is a street fight, I think that maybe leans more towards Cargill because Lynch is even a younger Lynch is more of a better wrestler, more natural wrestler than say Jade Cargill. I also think that version of Becky Lynch didn't have the edge that she had later on. She wasn't the man yet. Cargill always had an edge, and always thinks she's the baddest bitch on the planet. And I think this being a street fight plus that attitude, and plus it is a not as seasoned to Becky Lynch. Not that Cargill is very seasoned, she's still very green. I'm going to lean toward Cargill on this.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I definitely think that Becky Lynch was okay at this point. Certainly, competent in the ring, but we're talking about Jade Cargill, so sheer size and strength, and the fact that this is a street fight lends itself more to her in this case. And I also think that having Jade Cargill go against Awesome Kong is our champion.
Awesome Kong, yeah,
would be fun. So,
yeah, and considering if we are considering anything with the sponsorship of Candy Cane Lane, Eddie Murphy was with Scary Spice, so he probably favors Jade Cargill over Becky Lynch, if that has anything to do with it.
That's true. That's true. You're probably right about that. All right.
Yeah, he probably would go for Cargill. So our next match is drawn by me, even though it was Chad's pick, and it's just a straight up triple threat men's. So the three names involved in this are a face version of Sami Zayn, Austin Aries, and Gerald Briscoe. So now, I assume this is in his prime Gerald Briscoe and not necessarily stooge Gerald Briscoe. And of course, this is face Sami Zayn, and he's been a face off and on, so take that as you will. Right. And then, of course, Austin Aries is Austin Aries, which we haven't heard from in a while at the time of this recording for some good reasons. So.
Right.
So since I drew it, where are your thoughts here?
Okay, so as much as I think Austin Aries is good in the ring, I would have to go with face Sami Zayn here. I think he's a little bit better in the ring overall. Do we know what version of Gerald Briscoe this is?
It just said Gerald Briscoe. As I was saying, my guess would be it would be because maybe no. Would this be Stooge Briscoe? Because didn't he go by Jerry when he was younger? Jerry true. And Jerry?
We could pretend it's prime Jerry Briscoe, but
okay.
I would still say that Sami Zayn takes this. I think that he might be a good person if you agree that he wins this match. He'd probably be a good person to go against CM Punk.
Yes, I'm totally cool with that. Let's say that. Yeah, I think even if it is in his prime Briscoe, again, you have a guy that's just a different style than the other two. I think Aries Zayn would be a good match. I don't know if they ever locked up somewhere on the Indies. There's something to look up, but I agree with you. I think I would lean towards Zayn, even though Aries certainly does have. Just speaking of his in-ring work, was always very solid in the ring. So, especially since we're going to get Zayn Punk in the future, I'll go Sami Zayn as well here.
All right. So, I believe, Leonard, we have just our main event left, right?
Our main event, which is for the world title, which Bruno Sammartino has. It is a triple threat where I'm going to draw one name, you're going to draw one name, I'm going to draw managers for all three, and you're going to draw a run-in.
Okay.
So I have my name, and it's Kamala.
Okay. Well, okay. My name is John Cena, the super face version.
Okay. So, managers in order that we have the names listed. This is how they got drawn. All women. So, Bruno has Miss Elizabeth with him. Kamala has Queen Sherry.
Okay.
And Super John Cena has Lana.
Okay. All right. Well, so let me say this. Let's go over the match, and then we'll have the run-in kind of in the middle.
Okay, because I was going to ask about the run-in.
Yeah. So I think that this is an interesting dynamic of people. I feel like initially you're going to see Bruno and John Cena team up just to beat the crap out of Kamala. Uh,
Yeah. He's alone in this match. Yes.
yeah, and no, so then if we're doing like triple threat structure, you have them beating up on Kamala, trying to pin Kamala, but eventually they realize, wait, you're not supposed to win. I'm supposed to win, and then they start fighting each other. And I do think a prime Bruno and a prime John Cena would be a really competitive match. It might not be the most technically proficient 5-star classic, but I think that they're pretty evenly matched in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, Leonard, I know who I'm leaning towards, but we do have a run in, and
Okay, give me the run-in.
it is a Christmas run in, and
Okay.
it is Yukon Cornelius.
Okay, I was expecting Santa Claus, but Yukon Cornelius. I think Yukon Cornelius is the Sammartino man.
He might be, but will
You
he?
know, I'm thinking time period. I'm thinking that he's like a minor guy. I don't, he feels more, and Bruno's always the blue collar hero of Pittsburgh. I think Yukon Cornelius is more with him. Now, if you consider the managers, Kamala has the advantage there because Sherry will
True.
get in there. The other two, not so much. They're eye candy. Although Lana
Lana
did.
was a wrestler as well, so does she and
Did wrestle.
Sherry cancel each other out?
Yeah, but Lana's gimmick was being put through tables every week.
That's it's true. Not her fault, but that
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah. So no. So I mean, yeah. I did think because of Yukon Cornelius being with Bruno, I'm going to lean toward Bruno. But you
Oh,
can
wow.
certainly change my mind because Superface John Cena went on just a massive tear. I would have to go back and look to see what his win-loss record was. But it was, I know, phenomenal during that period. And of course, Bruno's win-loss record was phenomenal during his prime years. So you're right, this is close. I think Kamala is just an avenue so they can work together because in real life, Sammartino and Cena probably would have been allies. And then to get them to split. So Kamala, I think, is out. I think the managers, as you said, probably would cancel each other out on the outside. They're eye candy. Yukon Cornelius, I still think if he's going to interfere, and he's going to interfere on behalf of Bruno, the dude's got a pickaxe. All right. If John Cena is going to job, a pickaxe to the head might be one of the few things that would make John Cena job.
I really wanted
So,
to have us have a new champion, but like when you bring in the pickaxe and the fact that he's most likely going to be with Bruno, you can see Yukon Cornelius getting a little overzealous with the pickaxe and Bruno looking over like, what the hell are you doing? You know, so yeah, we almost kind of have to, keep the title on Bruno
yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah, and it's the reason why we do all these gimmicks and managers and run-ins because it can affect, I think if it was minus the argument I just made, I think we both might have went with Cena here. But based on the argument, I think we're going Bruno Sammartino is going to retain yet again, and he's had the belt for a while. I forget who he won it off of. Was it Flair?
It might have been Flair, yeah. Yeah, that's going back, but I think you're right about that.
Yeah, we need to figure out our title lineages.
I think yeah, I think Flair had it for a small period of time.
Yeah, smaller than you would have thought. Yeah.
So Leonard, do we want a dark match here before we get kicked off?
If you want to do a dark match, you would need to generate it because I've closed out my windows, so I could. So I would because it affects the speed. So I closed out the windows.
So yeah, so let's have a dark match, but let's
Yeah.
have a gimmick attached to that dark match. So
Right.
the participants are Captain Insano from The Waterboy
Yes.
against Buddy the Elf from the Elf movie.
Okay.
Will Ferrell, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the gimmick, unfortunately, for Buddy the Elf is a standard wrestling match.
Okay.
That's what
See,
populated.
yeah. So you know what? Captain Insano was an actual wrestler in the movie, played by a real wrestler. So
Right.
the fact that it is a real wrestling match, and the fact that Buddy the Elf can't wrestle, although this would have been a great like part of a sequel, like Elf 2. Somehow Buddy winds up in whatever wrestling federation Captain Insano was in, and winds up having to do a match with Captain Insano. That's brilliant. I would love to see that in a movie.
Yeah.
But I think Captain Insano clearly gets the win here
Yeah.
over Buddy. He's going to lock him in something, and Buddy's going to like scream like a little boy and tap out.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going
I definitely see that happening as well. I added a Christmas character to our list this year, Leonard, that I didn't even tell you about.
Yes.
I think I named it every Santa from all the Miracle on 34th Street movies on meth.
Well, I can only think of two. There was the original Miracle on 34th Street. That was Edmund Gwynn. And then there was the remake with Richard Attenborough.
Right.
And there might be a TV version in there somewhere.
Yeah. So basically those two guys on meth.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's hard to picture.
It would have been an interesting run-in.
Yes.
That's for sure. But unfortunately, they didn't get selected.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have any title changes, Leonard.
No, we did not. And we didn't defend the women's belt. So that's next time.
Yep.
And you know what? And I know that you had listed that we didn't do anything with it, that Iron Sheik had won a triple threat the show before. So I think we need to bring Sheik in for something.
That's
next
true.
time on.
Yeah, we can bring Sheik in for something.
Sheiky Baby needs to be involved in something.
Absolutely, but not the Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
No. So we know two matches for next time. Sami Zayn, I've been drinking, versus CM Punk for the Smoky Mountain U.S. Junior Heavyweight title, and Jade Cargill versus Awesome Kong for the Fever Dreams women's title. So those are both good matches for y'all to look forward to next time around.
Absolutely. And check out our other videos, random match reviews, segment surgery, stupid questions. And we're available wherever you listen to podcasts as well. For everybody out there, thank you for checking us out over the past year and dealing with our lull period there while my situation changed at my job. And hopefully everybody has very happy holidays. And we will plan on continuing to give you some fun shows in 2024. So for Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.